The experiment our group decided to conduct was to see whether or not people were willing to pick up trash after watching it become littered. Upon selecting our group's final project, we considered several factors such as access to materials, demographics, and the location we plan on performing the experiment. There were other options that we as a group considered as a social experiment. One of them was to ask people for hugs and see who was willing to respond back, which would have been interesting to see if people are comfortable to give hugs to strangers. But that's pretty basic. Another experiment we considered was dropping valuable items in public, such as a phone or wallet, in order to figure out if people are considerate enough to return it back to the owner. But if people were not considerate enough, we would have lost the phone or wallet in that process. The last experiment we thought about was taking advantage of a blind person. We thought about taking a role of a blind person and going around with a lottery ticket while we asked people if it was a winning ticket or not. We decided on this specific experiment about littering because, as you may all know, littering is an important issue in today's society and has caused great damage to our environment, our public health, and our wildlife. Not only does littering look unpleasant for our community, but it has also caused people to create a pattern change in areas that are filled with litter, causing them to think it's totally acceptable to continue to litter. This problem affects our environment, especially during rainy season, since the misplaced garbage travels through a city's water system and ends up in places such as rivers and creeks. As a result, animals can choke on the garbage, which is really sad. Also, litter can affect our health because it is a breeding ground for bacteria, which is also gross. Littering is an issue caused by human behavior and continues to be a problem even though there are laws against it. Hopefully, individuals are aware of the consequences of littering and change their behaviors. We decided to film our experiment in various locations in order to see if the results were to change. The different environments occurred all over campus. Was East Commons inside the food court. We chose this area because there were accessible trash cans all around. In this location, Nathan was the awful person who was careless enough to litter right next to the trash can. In this specific environment, we targeted 2 people who stood right next to it. It was interesting to see their reaction when Nathan threw an empty pasta container outside the trash can. The students around did not confront Nathan, as we thought they would, but instead they took a step back at the trash before picking it up. Although they didn't immediately pick up the trash, they eventually became good people and picked it up after contemplating the decision. We continued the experiment in this location, but this time we filmed outside of East Commons next to a group of students. We decided to film it outside during the morning because there was a lot of people walking around this time. In this location, we targeted a specific group of males who stood by the trash can. Unfortunately, they did not have much of a reaction when Ruvel misplaced the garbage. The group of males noticed that she had thrown the trash in the wrong location, yet they kept on walking forward. We also expected people nearby to say something about the garbage, but everyone just went on their own way. For about 20 minutes, we stood outside East Commons as people walked past the trash on the ground, and not one person bothered to pick up the trash. Some people looked at it and continued to walk. Others didn't even bother to notice the trash at all. Next, we filmed inside West Commons. There was about 40 people who were eating or doing homework at this time. In this environment, we targeted one girl. Stephanie was the awful person in this time. As you can see, she sat next to this girl and we got no response when Stephanie left an entire meal's worth of garbage. Our last location happened inside the library in the 24/7 area. There was a big population in this area, mainly because finals was coming up, and there were trash cans all around. There were many people in the library, but not one person took the time to pick up the garbage or even notice it. Our next location was the koi fish pond. We came to choose this location because we wanted to see if there's a difference between age groups. In this environment, we targeted an elderly couple. We also decided to film in this environment because it's a natural habitat and it's more likely that someone will pick up the trash in this specific area. Our next environment occurred in the walkway next to the student union. At this location, there was a group of about 30 to 40 middle school students who were taking a tour of the campus. Nathan and Stephanie walked by these students while littering right in front of them. The response we received from them was predicted. They did not say anything about the litter. although Nathan and Stephanie dropped it directly in front of them. Fortunately, one girl picked up the empty soda bottle. After filming our experiment in different environments, we came to the conclusion that no one would confront us about littering. Most people would not pick up or ignore the garbage. However, there were 2 incidents that someone actually picked up the garbage. So even a bigger conclusion, not everyone is a hippie in this world. We changed the environment multiple times, but we got the same response. When we dropped and left garbage in front of a small group of people, people were more likely to pick it up, but some people would still ignore it. We observed that in an environment with a large population, no one would pick up the garbage. Our environments were located throughout the campus at different times and noticed that the location did not affect the responses. Also, we observed that gender played a role in this experiment. The participants who actually picked up the garbage were both females, whereas the males would obviously ignore it. When people ignore the garbage, it shows that they do not care enough about the environment to take action. Age also played a role in this experiment. As you may have noticed, we targeted middle school students, college students, and a group of elderly people. We realized that younger population were the ones who were concerned about the problem of littering compared to the elder population. A younger population, middle school and college students, picked up the garbage while the elderly failed to take action.